Welcome, Tim Rogers, Beatles, Mibrate, Birio. Thank you, all of you, for joining this live chat session, viewers. Vedi Tigray, Sira Bahab, Robil Birhane. Noor Ahmad Ali, Tim Rogers. Welcome, all of you. God is Love has also joined. Beatles says this is probably the most important week yet for the conflict. To some extent, we can say that now things are moving in the direction which will tell you about the future of this conflict. Mogus Tai says you're doing a good job. Thank you, Mogus. Alam Tasfai has joined. Samuel Walde Gabriel. Hello, Samuel. Hudan M. Manelik. Tim Rogers. Unite for Peace. Hi from USA. Hi from my views on news. Unite for Peace. Philemon Phil has joined. Jabir Siraj, he missed the last session, I think. He joined this time. Thank you for joining, Jabir. Chapier Linear. Hi, how are you? Chapier, I'm fine. How are you? Ruby has joined. Vedi Tigray, Alimus Kitchen has joined as well. Matty Statford. Amhara think they own Ethiopia and the rest of the people are guests in Ethiopia. Yamaro 1, Drake Servansky, RARER. What is the first and last solution to Tigray crisis? Important question. Robil Birhane, we thank you for all good job. Thank you, Robil. Nathaniel Gabre, welcome Aristo2. TKCM, Zmachiel, hello. It's great that your news are precise. Keep it that way. Zamichiel, hello. Thank you, Zamichiel, hello. Saturday is the most important day for me because I get to talk to you. Nitin Varia, you are giving impartial, good, ethical news. Thank you, Nitin Varia. Fikre at Seba, hi my views. Hi Fitse Abria. Sub-Sahara Post has also joined. Hello, thank you for the updates. Thank you for joining Sub-Sahara Post. Ibrahim Naji, you are my favorite journalist. Thank you, Ibrahim. Marga Tefa, hi my views and news. Hi Marga. Free Islamic opposition. Do you consider Turkey a brotherly country? Yes, I do consider Turkey a brotherly country. Welcome, Aristo too. We cannot coexist with people who hate you. Menelik, has there been any word regarding the missing refugees? I cannot find anything new. Daniel Tafre, Amhara are jealous of Tigray. Daud Faseha, hello brother. Thank you for dedication. Hello Daud, and thank you for joining this session, live session. Let's start talking a little about the conflict. I'm here to take your questions. Will US take action? If so, when? Vedi Tigray asks. Isa Tas has joined as well. Let's talk about this question. Will US take action? If so, when? Well, if you look at US policy about Tigray, you can see that the policy is gradually becoming intensified. US is putting pressure gradually upon Ethiopia because the first statement which US issued, it was through Reuters. Reuters published an article and Reuters quoted some US officials. Reuters said back then, almost a month ago, that there was presence of Eritrean troops in Tigray. After that, we saw a statement from US Embassy in Asmara, Eritrean capital. And US Embassy in Asmara called for the withdrawal of Eritrean troops from Tigray. Then viewers, US officials started speaking directly about Tigray conflict. Linda Thomas, US envoy to the UN, spoke about Tigray, and she said that Ethiopian government was at war with its own people. Lastly, viewers, Anthony Blinken, US Secretary of State, called Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed twice, and he openly talked about the presence of Eritrean and Amhara regional forces in Tigray. And Anthony Blinken issued a statement as well. He called for the withdrawal of both forces, Amhara, Eritrean forces from Tigray. And in his last statement, he talked about alleged ethnic profiling and displacements of Tigrayans from western Tigray towards central Tigray. So, US policy about Tigray has changed in the past few weeks. Now, US is putting pressure upon Ethiopia. But the problem is that viewers, Russia has issued a very open statement in support of Ethiopian government. And Russia, China, India blocked a joint statement at the UN Security Council about Tigray conflict. So Russia and the US are now face to face over Tigray. That is why US is not in a position to get the approval of the UN for an intervention or for a decision about Tigray. US can do things on its own. Will US unilaterally decide to intervene in Tigray or not? This is the most important question. Well, in my view, viewers, Russia is in Sudan. Russia has built a naval base in Sudan. Russia has issued a statement in support of Ethiopian government. I don't think that the US would like to involve itself directly in Tigray. US can put pressure upon Ethiopia. So far, US state officials have not talked about sanctions, which is the second option or the second step after issuing statements for the US. But so far, we haven't heard of sanctions by US officials against Ethiopian government, Ethiopian officials. US has withheld some aid like EU did. But we haven't seen any concrete measures from the US so far. And in the coming days, it remains to be seen how deep US would like to go into this conflict. In my view, I don't think US would like to militarily involve itself in Tigray. Of course, there would be some logistical hurdles as well for US if US decided to intervene in Tigray. US can only go for putting pressure diplomatically upon Ethiopia. This pressure is working a little. Ethiopian government has allowed aid organizations to enter Tigray. And the aid organizations are doing a double job. They are giving aid to the people in Tigray. Secondly, they are giving on-ground information to foreign countries. Uh, Whatever international media is publishing about Tigray, it's mostly based upon the information given by aid organizations working in Tigray. We have seen several cases in which international media based its reports upon the information given by aid organizations. So that is what was said by Anthony Blinken. He said that the first priority for the US is to enter Tigray through aid organizations. Which will guide the countries, the US and other countries, about what is happening on ground. The US has entered Tigray in the form of US aid, in the form of CRS, in the form of Red Cross and other organizations. What will US do from here onwards? That's still unclear for me. But I personally feel that US won't go for unilateral intervention in Tigray. Several viewers have joined. Hanok, Derara, Bazan, Dato Sapora, NNM News, Now Media. EU is considering sanctions as of yesterday. Beatles said, yes, Beatles, I heard about likely EU sanctions. In fact, EU Observer issued an article, a report about that EU was considering sanctions. But some EU officials, after rejected the article written by EU Observer, and EU said that Ethiopia was a key ally of the EU. So EU sanctions against Ethiopia are still, they haven't been decided so far. They might be under discussion, but we haven't seen any concrete announcement by the EU regarding sanctions against Ethiopia so far. Jabir Siraj, Ethiopian economy supported by Western US Ethiopian countries, not Russians. They voted not because you know what happened to them in Ukraine. Well, when Russians issued a statement against America and in support of Ethiopian government, it was definitely out of Russia's animosity with the US. It wasn't out of Russia's sympathy or its support for the Ethiopian government. Russia-US ties are going through a very bad patch. So Russia was trying to put pressure upon the US when it issued statement in support of Ethiopian government. You are right, Jabir. But Russian statement matters. It matters at international forums like the UNSC, Security Council. It means that the US cannot have its way at the UN Security Council. US cannot have a joint strategy to tackle Tigray conflict at the UN. Russia matters at the UN, Jabir. Britannia, Free Islamic Opposition, Bazan, Haley. Look, so do you think US will not interfere in the near future? US won't interfere unilaterally in Tigray, militarily in Tigray. It will keep on putting pressure upon Ethiopian government. We might see some sort of sanctions, but I don't see the possibility of US intervening directly in Tigray. Max Free Faseha Assembly, US is closer. Datospora is talking about genocide, which we talked about in previous sessions. Dirar says, is Ethiopia and Sudan officially in war? Amhara Kasa has joined, one of my regular viewers. Sudanese forces were close to storming Brecht settlement, largest Ethiopian settlement on Sudan-Ethiopia border. And Sudanese forces had laid siege to Brecht settlement. And there were thousands of Ethiopian farmers, fighters in Brecht. But Sudanese forces have not launched a full-scale offensive on Brecht. So Sudanese offensive on Brecht has been stalled a little. There might be some sort of diplomacy underway, negotiations underway, because fighting for Brecht would be fierce fighting. Mother of all battles could be seen if fighting for Brecht started. That is why Ethiopian Sudanese forces have stopped their offensive on Brecht. Forces of both the countries are there, but Sudanese forces have stalled their offensive on Brecht. Philemon, Phil, will you travel to Tigray once this war is over? I would like to travel to Ethiopia, to Tigray, to Amhara, to Benishangul Gumuz, to Somalia, and to Sudan. Yusuf Tafari, do you think election is going to happen? Yeah, very important question. So far, Yusuf, two main Oromo parties have boycotted. OLF, Oromo Liberation Front, and OFC, Oromo Federalist Congress, they have boycotted. Some other parties are considering withdrawal as well. International pressure is mounting upon Ethiopian government for the release of Jawar Mohammed and Bekele Gerba. We might see activities, we might see attacks by OLA, by Tigray fighters, and by other groups in different parts of Ethiopia as we get closer to elections. So far, Ethiopian government is ready to hold elections. But will elections be held or not? It's still unclear. Several factors will come into play. Dam issue is also there. Sudan and Egypt are putting pressure upon Ethiopia about dam issue. War in Tigray. Benishangul Gumuz insecurity, and then Oromia state. We see that there is definitely OLA carrying out activities there. So we cannot say for sure that election will be held in Ethiopia in June. So much is to happen before June. It's just March, April, May, 2 months remain, and some big things could happen in the coming 2 months. That is why fate of the next elections is still it's still not decided for me. Faseha Assembly, who lose much in this war? Fascia Assembly, Fascia people of Tigray are losing. We have seen so many massacres, Maikadra, Axom, Dangelot, and other massacres. People are being massacred. People are dying because of the lack of food, lack of basic necessities of life. Basically, people of Tigray are suffering. And this war has led to increased hatred among ethnic groups in Ethiopia. So this war isn't serving any purpose. In the long run, this war will be remembered as a development which led to further alienation, more hatred among ethnic groups in Ethiopia. Amhara region, Amhara state has taken control of Raya, Homera, and Volkayet regions, and they are saying that these regions are part of Amhara, not Tigray. But do you think that TPLF will accept this position of Amhara state? No, they won't. They will strike back at Amhara state. So we are not moving towards a resolution of this conflict. Things are getting complicated with every passing day about this conflict. Muhammad Bashir, Amhara militia, Eritrea army. Call Johnson, why do you think ICC won't charge? ICC's International Criminal Court, Uzi Ali has joined, Nahome Assefa, a loin killer. Stop deleting my comments on your videos, loin killer says. Loin killer, you're a loin killer, so definitely I cannot delete your comments. Loin killer, I don't delete any comments. I believe in speaking the truth. I believe in letting others speak as well. People do name calling here, and they lash out at me almost all day. But I never delete any comments. Yes, artificial intelligence of the YouTube does delete comments. If comments are seen offensive by IA of the YouTube, they get deleted automatically. So if your comments are seen as objectionable by the YouTube, they are deleted automatically. Yawn Media, TPLF paying you. Yawn Media says TPLF is paying me. Well, TPLF is in need of donations, in need of money. They're not in a position to pay anyone now. They must be looking for sponsors, for people who can help them. They cannot pay anyone. I don't need anyone, honestly. I don't take donations. I don't take any sort of contribution from the viewers who watch my videos. Be it TPLF, Ethiopian government, Somali government, Sudanese officials. I do not rely on anyone for financial support because I don't spend a lot on this channel. You see that I don't worry about my background, about my dressing as well. I am only concerned about the content of my videos. I try to do as much research as I can, and the most important thing for me is the content, not the studio where I'm recording this video and doing live chat with you. That is why I don't need any money, any financial support from anyone. David Alexander, hi, how are you? I am fine, David. Somebody free Tigray. Uzal Ganir has joined, one of my regular viewers. Welcome, Uzal Ganir. Free Islamic opposition says, why isn't Turkey intervening in Ethiopia? Well, when a country intervenes in another country, there are some attractions for the country which is intervening. For example, if when Turkey intervened in Libya, Turkey intervened in Libya because Turkey signed a maritime deal with Libyan government. And through intervention in Libya, Turkey tried to block a maritime deal signed between Israel, Greece, and Cyprus, who had signed a deal to export natural gas from the Eastern Mediterranean to Europe. So Turkey tried to stop the deal by interfering in Libya. When Turkey intervened in Azerbaijan, Turkey sold its weapons to Azerbaijan. Turkey sold weapons worth millions of US dollars to Azerbaijan. And Turkey wanted to spread its influence in the Caucasus. That is why Turkey intervened in Azerbaijan. Turkey supported Azerbaijani forces against Armenia. I don't think that Tigray has this much importance for Turkey strategically. Turkey is already in Somalia. Turkey is the largest military base in Africa, in Somalia. So it has its presence near in Somalia. Egypt, Tigray is not strategically very attractive for Turkey. And Ethiopia as well. Ethiopia as a whole is not strategically very important for Turkey. That is why Turkey is not intervening in Ethiopia in support or against Ethiopian government. Robel Michael asks, do you think Tigray would be an independent country? I have answered this question several times in previous live chat sessions. Leah Annan has joined, Yunus Gabro, Yon Media, Jabir Siraj, Ababia. Why someone asked about independence of Tigray? Well, I won't talk about independence of Tigray unless TPLF leader make it their demand. It would be unfair for me to talk about independence of Tigray if representative of Tigray do not want to be independent. Personally, I am not in support of disintegration of Ethiopia because if Tigray becomes independent, then there could be divisions within Tigray. If Benishangul Gumuz becomes independent, there could be divisions in Benishangul Gumuz. So it's not a solution to ethnic conflicts in Ethiopia that Tigray, Benishangul Gumuz, Oromia become separate states. Solution is to bridge differences, to bring ethnic groups together, to mitigate their ethnic disputes, and to find harmonious ethnic atmosphere. Ismail Shakhe, Tim Rogers, Free Islamic Revolution, you have asked several questions. I have responded as well. Beatles, I responded to one of your questions. Ruby, Tigray would never be. I could not read your entire question. Shiva Tube, will OLF and TDF work together? They cannot work together. I mean, they can morally support each other, but to provide logistical support to each other, it's a bit difficult for them. And amateurs astrophotography, why don't you report that OLA massacred Abo Church? Amateurs astrophotography, I did 2 videos on that. Please watch 2 videos. I quoted an article written by Eddie Standard about attack on Abo Church, and in that video, I informed you that Eddie Standard had put the blame on OLA fighters. After that, OLA fighters wrote a letter to AD Standard and they said that another Oromo group was behind the attack on Abo Church. I did two videos on that. I did not mention the ethnicity of the killed there because AD Standard did not name the group which was killed there. They were saying that civilians were killed. They were not naming their ethnicity. That is why I tried to avoid naming them. Otherwise, I informed you about that incident. Please watch two videos. Tisfy, hello, do you think TDF can now hundreds of viewers have joined? That is why uh, someone is asking about why Pakistan does not recognize Armenia. Ababia asks, is OLF in good condition? OLF, are you asking about OLF or OLA? Oromo Liberation Army, OLA, is fighting Oromo forces and Ethiopian government forces. OLF is a political party, Oromo Liberation Front, and it has announced to pull out of elections. Yunus Gabro, do you think TDF would survive because Tigray is landlocked and difficult to get logistics? Yunus Gabre. Yes, Yunus, your question is very valid. Will TDF survive or not? So far, they have survived. I mean, on the 27th of November, Mekelle came under the control of Ethiopian National Defense Forces. So far, Tigray Defense Forces have managed to keep their supply lines flowing, and they have support of local militias who are backing them, which are backing them. Secondly, they are in control of almost 40% of Tigray so far. So far they have survived. In the long run, there might be problem for them because definitely on all sides they don't have any friends so far. Eritrea, Afar region, Amhara region, they can only have some sort of relief from Sudan. But Sudan is so far focused on securing its border area with Ethiopia. It's not backing Tigray fighters, TPLF fighters. So no doubt that Tigray fighters are under a siege on all sides. But somehow they've managed to survive so far. Robel, I have responded to two of your questions earlier. TPLF wants an Robel once again says that independence of Tigray should be discussed. I responded to it just a few minutes ago. OLA's, someone asked a question about OLA. What's OLA's position? Well, just a few minutes ago today, I shared a video about OLA fighters who were seen in a village in Western Oromia. They are becoming organized and they are equipped with some modern weapons. With the passage of time, they are becoming organized and their recruitment structure is also broadening, and their fighters are well armed, well prepared. In my view, in the coming days, not coming days, coming months, we might see them spreading their influence in Oromia. University Habera has joined, one of my regular viewers. Ephraim Idhamo. Ruby says, did you heard about Birhane? Yes, Ruby, I did hear about Ethiopian Deputy Chief of Mission at the US who has resigned. And he wrote a letter to Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, and he cited several reasons, including Tigray war, including imprisonment of Oromo leaders, including OLF and OFC pulling out of elections. He cited several reasons for quitting. Yes, he has quit. He worked as Deputy Chief of Mission at the US Embassy for Ethiopian Embassy at the US. Daniel, have you ever seen horrifying acts, as we are saying in Tigray? Wars are always brutal, but ethnic violence in Ethiopia, it's really horrific. It's really horrific. Uh, and the reason behind this horrific violence is long running hatred between ethnic groups in Ethiopia. Leaders have not done anything to bring ethnic groups together. So, in my view, what Ethiopia is facing today, it's because of the leaders. I am blaming all of them. I'm not blaming just Abiy Ahmed. I am blaming all the leaders. They should have done something to bring people together, to find a way out of this ethnic hatred. But honestly, they failed, and now people are suffering. Samuel Fitwi, what do you think about Ethiopia future? We discussed about that in several previous sessions. Slow mode, please, Javan Guru says. Yeah, yes, it's becoming very fast now. Lion Killer says that it's proxy war to sabotage GERD. Yes, Lion Killer, before the second filling of GERD, we could see several important things happen in Ethiopia. Ras Mikotli, Ras Miktwali, Ethiopia will prevail. Yes, Ethiopia should prevail. No one wants Ethiopia down. But for Tigrayans, for Amharas, for Oromos, Ethiopia should come first, not their ethnicity. Mona Asdesta, ethnic issues will Menelik said Ethiopia first. Marco Alessandro, for the Amharas, no golden water. Now, Motas, did you hear about some lands annexed by Amhara region, someone asked? I did a video about that today. I informed about 3 regions. In fact, I did a video almost a month ago, if you remember. Almost a month ago, I informed you about 3 regions, Raya, Humera, and Volkayet, that regional administration had been appointed by Amhara state in Humera, Volkayet, and Raya. But now international media is confirming this news that And now Amhara officials are openly saying that Volkayet, Humera and Raya are part of Amhara, not Tigray. That is why Amhara regional forces will not withdraw from these three regions. That is why I'm saying that Tigray conflict is getting complicated. US tried to form a consensus at the UN Security Council. Russia, India, and China blocked. US called for the withdrawal of Amhara forces, and Amhara spokesperson is saying that we are working in Amhara region, not in Tigray. Raya, Humera, and Volkayet are Amhara, not Tigray areas. So things are becoming complicated. It means that Amhara forces won't withdraw from Raya, Volkayet, and Humera. Dave, will the June elections be rigged by PP, Prosperity Party? That remains to be seen. But the way mainstream parties, major parties are boycotting these elections, there'll be questions about the legality and the acceptability of these elections for international community. Yasin Usman, one of my regular viewers, joined. Robel Michael, I have responded to more than 2 of your questions, Robel. Amateur astrophotography, I responded to one of your questions earlier about attack on Abo Church. Please let others ask as well. University Habera, Ermias Velde, Mibrate Berigo, do you believe Abe is committing war crimes? War crimes are being committed in Tigray. It's happening. We have seen video evidence now. International media is reporting about that. There's no doubt about that. Important question is who will be tried for these human rights abuses? Ethiopian Prime Minister, Eritrean President, or some soldiers, some ENDF Eritrean soldiers who are working on the ground. And secondly, how will we determine who are perpetrators? Until and unless there is an independent international inquiry, we won't be able to name the individuals who are committing these crimes. Yusuf Memo, Loin Killer, what's your name? Loin Killer, your questions are always astonishing for me. You can call me My Views and News. Okay, viewers, thank you for joining. Let's wrap up this live chat session. Thank you all of you for joining. I wait for Saturday night to talk to you. It's wonderful to be with you. Let me just say 2 things before I end this session. Firstly, viewers, Tigray conflict is becoming complicated now. Not only a solution at the UN seems unlikely, but unilateral intervention by the US is not on the cards as well. US is putting pressure upon Ethiopia. US called for the withdrawal of Amhara forces, but Amhara region says that we are working in Amhara areas. Volkayet, Humera, and Raya are Amhara areas, not Tigray. So Amhara regional forces won't withdraw from these 3 regions. That is why I'm saying that the conflict is getting complicated. Secondly, viewers, International media is relying on aid organizations for getting information from Tigray. So aid agencies are doing a double job. They are giving water, food to people of Tigray, but they are giving information to foreign countries, to diplomats. And sometimes this information is half baked, not fully corroborated, fully verified. I mean, Doctors Without Borders reported that 10,000 people had entered Share from western Tigray. That led people and countries to claim that Tigrayans were being pushed from western Tigray towards central Tigray. The thing started after Doctors Without Borders issued a statement. Margaret Kate White, spokesperson of Doctors Without Borders, talked to AFP. She claimed that more than 10,000 people had entered Share from western Tigray. Displacements do not mean that ethnic massacres are happening. These 10,000 might be displaced. We cannot say for sure that the 10,000 people who have arrived in Share, they were forcibly pushed out of western Tigray. That is why I'm saying that aid organizations are giving half-baked information which needs verification. But since international media is not on ground in Tigray, that is why on the basis of verbal statements of aid workers and of refugees who are in Sudan, international media is forming opinions. So we need to take the reports given by international media also with a pinch of salt. Sometimes international media's reports need further verification, but it does not mean at the same time that international media is telling lies about Tigray. International media has covered several important stories about Tigray. International media has uncovered ethnic massacres which occurred in Tigray, civilian massacres, I would say. Things are still not clear what is going to happen in Tigray. In my view, we might see further confrontation in the coming days. Diplomatic solution is not on the cards. TDF is fighting, TDF is bouncing back to some extent, and TDF is still in control of around 40% of Tigray region, Tigray state views, especially central Tigray views. Thank you for watching. Thank you all of you for taking time out and joining this live chat session. See you in the next live chat session. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.